What if there was one thing, one condition you could screen for that could change the lives of your patients and make you more effective? What if doing so could save a patient's life? And what if not identifying this variable could mean the difference between effective and ineffective treatment? You would want to know more. Well, there is one thing: violence, and specifically domestic violence. But let's be honest, many of us think that's not my problem, it's not preventable, it's too hard, too big, too whatever. And many people think, oh yeah, I know about that already, preacher choir. But what do you do about it? I'd like you to hear from some patients.
The ER nurses told me how lucky I was to have such a handsome, loving, attentive husband. They didn't know when he held my hand and stroked my hair, whispering and smiling in my ear. He was telling me if I said anything, he would kill my dog and destroy my studio.
Patients worry. Will the doctor, the nurse, the receptionist, will they ask me? Will I be judged?
I could see my doctor knew, but didn't want to be bothered.
By my doctor's silence, I heard enough.
He thinks I'm trash, that I must have done something to deserve it.
It's tempting to think it's none of my business, that if the patient wanted to talk about it, they would raise the issue, that if they didn't have such a problem with addiction, you know, all those things we think and unfortunately sometimes even say. But survivors are everywhere, some of them still very busy surviving, some wondering how their life turned out this way.
I'm so embarrassed. This happens to other people, I thought.
My doctor won't acknowledge I'm gay, much less that I might be in a messed up relationship or that my boyfriend forces me to have sex.
If I have a black eye, people are going to ask questions I don't want to answer.
We wonder why they don't leave, why they don't take care of themselves, why they don't just change their lives.
I know it happened a long time ago, but still, some days I just can't be touched. I can't be looked at. I can't do it.
If I don't have the house just so, the right food, it only gets worse. I can't stay in bed. I know I might lose the baby.
I thought I knew him. I had no idea.
We have no idea.
Can't say anything in front of my kids.
He's not like this all the time.
They assume I must have done something to bring it on, to deserve it.
It's my fault.
I don't want to look like the victim.
It's just too personal.
It's just too personal.
Too personal.
Es demasiado personal.
Please. How much longer?
Violence is pervasive. Chances are many of you know that truth all too well. The collective we in the medical profession have the power to provide a major breakthrough in domestic violence. The healthcare sector constitutes the single largest underutilized means of prevention and intervention. Yes, prevention. Before anyone arrives in the emergency room or the morgue. It sounds dramatic, and that's because it is. Before we begin to look at patient interactions, let's start with a baseline on domestic violence, DV, or interpersonal or intimate partner violence, IPV. The key word in the definition is pattern. And when we look at the power and control wheel, we see there's an unlimited range of ways people wield power over others. We don't want to normalize violence or ignore a need for safety. How can we work with our patients and not further contribute to the victim's entrapment or even escalate the danger? Before we continue, please take the following quiz, which asks you to consider what is not considered IPV.